Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Speak Smart podcast. I'm Jane, and I'm so glad you're joining us today for a conversation that I think is incredibly important and honestly super timely for so many of us.
And I'm Lucy. You know, Jane, I feel like this topic is something we probably all struggle with at some point, or maybe even constantly. Today we're talking about something we've titled, Stop Waiting. Change Your Life Now. It's a bold statement, but I think it gets right to the heart of it.
It really does, Lucy. How many times have you heard yourself or someone you know say, "I'll start when," or "once this happens, then I'll do that big thing"? It's like we're constantly pushing our dreams, our goals, our desired lives into some distant, idealized future that never quite arrives.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so guilty of that, especially with exercise. I'll start my new workout routine on Monday, and then Monday comes and it's, maybe next Monday, this one's a bit hectic. It's a classic trap, isn't it? We create these mental barriers.
Exactly. And it's not just big life changes, right? It could be starting a new hobby, learning a new skill, having a difficult conversation, or even just decluttering a messy room. We wait for the perfect moment, for more time, more money, more energy, less stress, but that perfect moment is an illusion.
Yeah, it really is. And I think part of the reason we wait is fear, don't you? Fear of failure, fear of success even, fear of judgment. It's almost safer to just stay put and dream about it rather than actually taking the leap and risking something.
100%, Lucy. Fear is a huge component. We're afraid of messing up, of looking silly, of not being good enough. And sometimes we're even afraid of what happens if we actually achieve it. What then? Does it mean more responsibility, more visibility? It can be daunting.
That's so true. It's funny how our brains try to protect us by keeping us small and in our comfort zones, even when those comfort zones are actually pretty uncomfortable because we're not living up to our potential. It's a weird paradox.
Totally. And another aspect, I think, is perfectionism. We tell ourselves we need to have all our ducks in a row, everything planned out perfectly, before we can even begin. I can't start my podcast until I have the perfect microphone, the perfect editing software, the perfect intro music, and then you just never start.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, look at us. We're just talking, having a conversation, and sharing our thoughts. We didn't wait until everything was absolutely flawless. If we had, we probably wouldn't even be on air right now. And that's the beauty of it, right? It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely, Lucy. Progress over perfection is probably one of the most crucial mantras we can adopt. Because perfection is a moving target, an impossible standard. And honestly, it's just a really clever form of procrastination dressed up in a fancy suit.
That's a great way to put it. So if we're acknowledging that waiting is often driven by fear or perfectionism, and that the perfect moment doesn't exist, what's the first step? How do we actually stop waiting and change our lives now?
I think the absolute first step is acknowledging it. Just being aware that you're doing it. Catch yourself when you say, "I'll do it later," or "I'll start tomorrow." Ask yourself why. Is it really a logistical barrier, or is it fear, or is it simply the habit of putting things off?
Self-awareness is huge, isn't it? Because once you identify the pattern, you can start to challenge it. It's like shining a light on something that's been lurking in the shadows, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right. And then I would say break it down. Whatever that big, intimidating goal is, whatever that life change you're waiting for, break it into the tiniest, most ridiculously small step imaginable. If you want to write a book, don't say, "I'll write a book." Say, "I'll write one sentence today," or "I'll open the document."
Oh, I love that. The one-sentence approach, it takes away all the pressure, doesn't it? It feels so achievable that your brain can't really argue with it. Oh, just one sentence? Yeah, I can totally do that. And then often, one sentence leads to two, and two to a paragraph, and suddenly you're in flow.
Exactly. It's all about building momentum. The hardest part is almost always just starting. Once you're in motion, it's much easier to stay in motion. It's the law of inertia applied to life change, and it really, really works.
I can totally vouch for that. I remember wanting to learn guitar for ages, and I kept saying I'll get serious about it next month. Then I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up for 5 minutes a day, no pressure to learn anything big, just 5 minutes. And honestly, those 5 minutes often turned into 20, 30, or even an hour, and now I can actually play a few songs.
That's such a perfect example, Lucy. It's about lowering the barrier to entry so much that it's almost impossible to say no. And it's also about giving yourself permission to be a beginner. We often expect ourselves to be experts from day one, and that's just not how anything works.
Yeah, and forgiving yourself when you don't hit those tiny goals every single day. If you miss a day, it's not the end of the world. You just pick it up the next day. It's not a failure, it's just a pause. That mindset shift is crucial.
Absolutely. Self-compassion is key. We're so quick to beat ourselves up, and that just makes us less likely to try again. Instead of saying, ugh, I messed up again, I'm such a procrastinator, try, okay, I missed yesterday, but I can still start right now. What's the smallest step I can take?
That's a much healthier internal dialogue. I think another thing that holds people back is feeling overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the change they want to make. Like, I want to completely overhaul my finances, or I want to change my entire career path. That sounds like a monumental task.
Totally. And that's where the breaking down technique becomes even more vital. If it's finances, maybe the first tiny step is just logging into your banking app and looking at your balance. Not even doing anything, just looking, or opening that one envelope you've been avoiding.
That's so practical. It's like when you have a super messy kitchen and you just decide to wash one fork, and then somehow that one fork leads to a plate, and before you know it, the sink is half empty. It's the micro action that unlocks the larger action.
Exactly. And sometimes the act of simply starting, even in a tiny way, gives you new information, new clarity. You might realize that your initial grand plan wasn't quite right, and that's okay. You're learning, you're adapting. You can't adapt if you haven't even taken the first step.
That's a really good point. You can't course correct if you're not moving. It's like trying to steer a parked car. You need some momentum to actually guide it in the right direction. And I think that applies to our lives too, in a big way.
Absolutely. So, let's talk about the now part of Change Your Life Now. It's not about being reckless or making impulsive decisions, right? It's about seizing the present moment for intentional action.
Yeah, it's about shifting that mindset from someday to today. What's one thing, no matter how small, that you could do right now in the next 5 minutes that would align you with the person you want to be or the life you want to live?
Exactly. If you want to be a healthier person, maybe it's drinking a glass of water right now instead of waiting for your morning coffee. If you want to be a better communicator, maybe it's sending that short, kind text you've been meaning to send.
And the ripple effect of these small actions is amazing, isn't it? One healthy choice often leads to another. One productive step makes you feel more motivated to take the next one. It's like building a positive feedback loop.
It truly is. I remember wanting to start meditating for years. I'd download apps, watch tutorials, but never actually sit down and do it consistently. I was waiting for the perfect quiet morning, the perfect state of mind.
Oh, I hear you on that one. Meditation always felt like this grand spiritual endeavor that required absolute silence and perfect posture, which, let's be real, is hard to come by in real life.
Right? So I finally told myself, just sit for 1 minute. Anywhere, anytime. And it wasn't perfect. Sometimes my dog barked, sometimes my mind raced. But I did it. And that 1 minute turned into 2, then 5, and now it's a consistent part of my day. And it actually has changed my life, my focus, my calm.
That's so inspiring, Jane. It shows that the Change Your Life Now part isn't necessarily about a complete 180-degree turn in an instant, but about starting that incremental movement now. It's about initiating the process, even if it's small.
Exactly. It's about deciding that you are worth investing in right now. Your future self deserves the effort you put in today. And honestly, the biggest regret people often have isn't about the things they tried and failed at, but the things they never even tried because they waited too long.
Oh, that's such a profound thought. The weight of what if can be so much heavier than the weight of I tried. Because I tried at least gives you an answer, a lesson, a path forward. What if just leaves you in this perpetual state of longing.
It really does. So, for our listeners, what's one piece of practical advice you'd give them right now, today, to stop waiting?
I'd say identify one thing that you've been putting off, just one. And then, without overthinking it, just do the very first micro step towards it. Don't worry about the second or third step, just the first one. For me, if it's that messy drawer I've been avoiding, it's literally just pulling one item out. That's it. What about you, Jane?
That's a fantastic one, Lucy. For me, I'd say embrace imperfection. Whatever you're waiting to do perfectly, just allow yourself to do it badly, initially. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, to be messy, to not know everything. The learning happens in the doing, not in the planning.
That's so important. I think that's where a lot of creative endeavors get stifled too. People want their art, their writing, their music to be perfect from the get-go, and then they never even pick up the brush or the pen. Just create something, anything. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece.
Exactly. The masterpiece comes from the consistent, imperfect attempts. So if you've been waiting to launch that business or write that blog post or go for that run or have that difficult conversation, just take that one tiny, imperfect step.
And remember, you're not alone in this struggle. Everyone, even the most seemingly productive people, battles with procrastination or the urge to wait. The difference is in recognizing it and taking that tiny action anyway.
Absolutely. It's a muscle you build. The more you practice taking action, the easier it becomes. You start to trust yourself more, you build self-efficacy, and suddenly, those big, scary goals don't seem quite so intimidating anymore because you know you can take that first step.
Yeah, and that confidence spills over into other areas of your life too. When you start seeing yourself as someone who takes action, who makes things happen, it totally transforms your self-perception. You go from a waiter to a doer, and that's a powerful shift.
It truly is, Lucy. So to all our listeners out there, don't let another day pass by waiting for permission or for perfection or for that mythical right time. The time is now. Your life is happening now. Start living it, shaping it, changing it, one small, imperfect step at a time.
Yeah, and you've got this, seriously. Just pick one thing, make it super tiny, and just do it. You'll be amazed at what happens next. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Speak Smart podcast. It's been a real pleasure discussing this with you, Jane.
My pleasure, Lucy, always. And to our listeners, thank you for being here and for being open to this message. We hope it sparked something in you to go out there and make that change you've been dreaming about. We'll catch you next time.